Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. O establisher of all the faiths, embodiment of all the religions, greatest teacher among all the teachers, O Sri Ramakrishna, my salutations to you. So Sri Ramakrishna teaching us how that one formless reality, the Satchidananda, Nirguna Nirakara Brahman, for the sake of devotees, takes forms, various forms, and he is explaining this phenomena to the Brahmo devotees at Sinthi, at Beni Madhavpal's garden house, where all these Brahmo devotees, they are celebrating their semi-annual festivities. And to the question raised by one Brahmo devotee, that why all this confusion? You say it is formless, fine, it has forms, fine, but why so many forms? And then Sri Ramakrishna told that it is all his will. Depending on the devotee's need, God takes that form. Devotee feels that let me worship Krishna, God takes the form of Krishna. Devotee feels let me take the form of Kali, God takes the form of Kali. Devotee feels let me take the form of Durga, Saraswati, Jesus, Buddha. God takes those forms, Sri Ramakrishna says. And he says there is no controversy over it. Why there should be confusion about so many different forms of God? And then Sri Ramakrishna narrated that beautiful story of that small creature that one person had seen in the woods. He had gone to the woods, he saw that small creature, red in color. He came from the woods, he met another person there. He said, oh, I have seen one beautiful, interesting creature, red in color. That animal, small animal, red in color. The second person says, I have also seen it, but it is not red. Why you are saying that creature is red in color? It is blue in color. Then the third person comes. He says, no, I have also seen it. It is green in color. And then all these people start fighting amongst themselves. That creature is red in color, blue in color, yellow in color, green in color, purple in color. Now, they are just, dazzled at this particular differences of the forms that they have, all of them they have seen, and they're fighting over it. Then they go back to the woods, and there they find that under that tree, one person is sitting there quietly. And then they approach that person. He says, sir, we have seen one creature here. That person says, very much, that creature is still there. And I know that creature very well because I live here under this tree. I have known that creature in its totality. And then that person says that what you all say is true. None of you is wrong. That creature indeed is red in color. Another time that creature is yellow in color. Another time that creature is green color, purple color, so many colors. And on top of it, the person says that creature is also colorless. So many forms and even formless. That is the beauty of the miracle of the God. And then Sri Ramakrishna towards the end he said, in fact, the Puranas say that Sri Ram and Lord has to take birth as Rama because of the strong devotion of Hanuman towards his idol, towards his deity, towards his ideal, chosen ideal, Sri Ram. And Sri Ramakrishna says, because of Hanuman's bhakti towards the chosen ideal of Sri Rama, Lord had to take birth as Rama and come into the life, appear before Hanuman as Sri Ram. So that was the confusion that Sri Ramakrishna sorted out, just cleared that confusion. Why God with so many forms? He is formless and at times also takes all the different forms to the need of the devotees, to the liking of the devotees. And then God reveals himself in the form which devotee loves most. So depending on the need of the devotee, God takes that form. Nothing wrong in that, Sri Ramakrishna says. The forms and aspects of God disappear once the devotee discriminates and realizes that God can also be formless. That is the ultimate state of realization. Once that realization dawns, that God is also formless, then all these forms of God, they just vanish. The forms and aspects of God disappear when one discriminates in accordance with the Vedanta philosophy. The ultimate conclusion of such discrimination is that Brahman alone is real and this world of names and forms is all illusory. These are all dreamlike. Then comes that state that neti, 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 and only one reality is there, which is formless, which is free from any of the attributes, free from any of the qualities. That is the Satchitananda Brahman. It is possible for a man to see the forms of God or think of him as a person, only so long as he is conscious that he is a devotee. The moment that intense devotion, that the aspirant starts with the form God, a God with form. Once that intense devotion gets manifested into the deep devotion, then comes the realization that God is nothing but me. Me and my God, we are the same. From the standpoint of discrimination, this ego of devotee keeps him a little away from God. So Sri Ramakrishna says, what is keeping the devotee away from knowing that formless aspect of the God? It is that ego. The little ego that me and you are different. That little ego which differentiates oneself from the rest of the world. But the moment the illumination dawns, once the enlightenment comes through, then that differentiation of me and you totally disappears. Then there is no God, there is no devotee, there is no child, there is no mother, there is no servant, there is no master. It is only one entity, like the salt doll entering the sea waters. Then who is there to measure the depth of the sea? The salt water. The moment salt doll enters the sea water, it just merges into sea water. But that is, Sri Ramakrishna says, that is the last stage on this path. And then Sri Ramakrishna says that this differentiation does happen till the time we have this ego. Then he says, do you know why Krishna and Kali, they are seen as dark complexioned? Because of the distance. Till the time I differentiate myself between me and Krishna, till the time I differentiate myself as me and Kali, they appear to be dark complexion to me. Sri Ramakrishna says, go near them, sit on their lap, and there is no color, there is no complexion, there are no attributes, there are no qualities. They are free from sattva, rajas, tamas. There are no qualities, no forms. So Sri Ramakrishna says that. Then he gives the example. He gives the example of seeing water in a lake or ocean from a distance. The lake water or water in the ocean, it appears dark colored, blue, sometimes black. But as we come nearer and nearer to the water body and take that water from the lake in our hands and try to find out what color this water is, there is no color. It is all transparent. There is no color to the water. What form is it? There is no form to the water. Whichever container we put the water, it takes that form. So Sri Ramakrishna says, as we go nearer and nearer to our deity with the God with form aspect, then comes the realization that God is formless. There is no color at all to my Krishna or Kali. There is no color to this water the moment I take it in my palm. Then Sri Ramakrishna also gives another example of the sky, blue sky. When we look towards sky from distance, sky appears blue. But as we go higher and higher, what is the color? There is no color. We can't even perceive there is something called a sky. There is always sky on top. There is always sky on top. There is always sky on top. Once the distance disintegrates, once the distance is abolished, once the distance is knocked out, then there is no color whatsoever even for the sky. And then therefore Sri Ramakrishna says, therefore I say that in the light of Vedantic reasoning, Brahman has no attributes. The real nature of Brahman cannot be described. Once you take the water in your palm, then can you say what is its color? It may appear to us the color of our palm itself. Water itself doesn't have any color. The air itself, the sky above, the space, it doesn't have any color. But so long as your individuality is real, this is the point that Sri Ramakrishna invariably brings it to the attention of the devotees. But so long as your individuality is real, the world is also real, and the differentiation is very much present there for you. You cannot deny that differentiation. You can. I am alive. I am in this world. I am surrounded by so many objects. I cannot simply keep on saying neti, neti, neti. That stage comes much later. But so long as your individuality is real, world is also real. And equally real are all the different forms of God and feeling that God is a person. You cannot remove that feeling from your mind. The God is a deity for you. Whichever deity that may be Krishna, that may be Kali, that may be Durga, that may be Ganesha, that may be Saraswati. But that deity is very much there till the time we are conscious of our individuality, of our ego. Then Sri Ramakrishna says, but then why should I bother about that formless aspect and the colorless water and the colorless sky? If I am happy, if my deity is sufficing my devotion, if my deity is sufficing my devotional needs, I'm happy with it. And then Sri Ramakrishna gives a beautiful example here, most practical example. He says that if a jug of water is enough to remove my thirst, just a glass of water is enough to remove my thirst for that moment. Why should I think of how many liters and gallons of water is there in the lake? That is much later. That is, as of now, let me take this glass of water. Let me quench my thirst. That is good enough for me. Let me pray to my devotee. Let me chant the name of my deity. Let me chant the glories of my deity. That is what I need as of now. Then he gives another very, very nasty example. Sri Ramakrishna says, I become drunk on even half a bottle of wine. What is the use of my calculating the quantity of liquor that is stored in the taverns? Why should I think how many gallons and how many liters and how many bottles of liquor is there in that liquor store? For me, half a bottle is more than enough. If that is the thing, my deity, as far as my devotional practices are satisfying my devotional needs, my spiritual practices are satisfying my spiritual hunger, that is good enough for me. I need not think how much food is there in the restaurants and the hotels and pantries. I need not look at it. Whatever comes to my plate, let me have it and enjoy it and relish that food. Let me relish chanting the name of the Lord. Let me relish singing the glories of the Lord. What need is there of knowing the infinite? That is at a much, much, much later stage. As of now, just repeat, chant the name of God. The various states of mind of the Brahmajnani are described in Vedanta. Sri Ramakrishna says, the path of knowledge is extremely difficult. One cannot obtain jnana if one has the least trace of worldliness. Now, when that stage can come? That stage can come only when we are out of this worldly concern. We are out of these worldly thoughts. We are out of this differentiation of me and you. One cannot obtain jnana if one has the least trace of worldliness and the slightest attachment to woman and gold, the slightest attachment to the worldly things around. This is not path for the Kali Yuga, Sri Ramakrishna says. For Kali Yuga, we cannot get rid of the body consciousness at all. Until the time we are with the body consciousness, Sri Ramakrishna says, the best thing is to be a devotee. The best thing is to convert this eye, to convert this wretched eye into the eye of child towards mother. This I as the servant of the master, this I as the devotee of the deity. So that is the path for Kali Yuga, Sri Ramakrishna says. So, in Kali Yuga, what you are practicing, Sri Ramakrishna says to all these Brahmo devotees, that is good enough. That is good enough to progress on this path. And as you go further and further and further, then a stage will come when this differentiation, this body consciousness, it just evaporates. And once this body consciousness evaporates, then we can come into that state. Then we can attain that state of claiming Brahmosmi, Aham Brahmosmi, that I am Brahman. Till that time, we have no right. Till that time, we have no position to claim, to take that path of Aham Brahmosmi, Saha Aham, Saha Aham, Saha Aham, Soham, Soham, Soham. This is not for Kali Yuga. So Sri Ramakrishna tells us this thing. Be happy with the path of bhakti that you have chosen. Be happy that you are a devotee, putting your devotional practices, putting your spiritual practices towards your chosen ideal, towards your chosen deity. Go ahead with that. So that is Sri Ramakrishna's teaching as far as the practice of worshipping God with forms. And why only one form, Sri Ramakrishna says? There are millions and millions of forms of God. There is nothing wrong in that. There is no confusion over it. There is no controversy over it. That is Sri Ramakrishna's teaching to us today. Om Namah Shri Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Thakur, Jai Ma, Jai Swamiji.